housing market because they're two key indicators as the gauge of our economic recovery. And last month's jobs numbers, Mike, in a word, were disappointing.
They were a bit. Employers did add about 88,000 jobs in March. That's not a very big number. It's the fewest in 9 months, and it could signal an economic slowdown. The jobless rate did drop to a four-year low of 7.6%, and that is down 0.1% from the month before. Again, national numbers. And it's because fewer people were actually looking for work. So how does this all affect the housing market as we head into the spring? Joining us now are Kimberly Allard-Moccia, president of the Massachusetts Association of Realtors, also a broker-owner of Century 21 in Braintree, and Tim Warren is CEO of the Warren Group, which tracks housing data, and has been doing that for a number of years in New England and elsewhere. Good to have you here. Tim and Kim, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Welcome both. Kim, since you have the bow tie, I want to ask the first question of you. It's about the economy. And these job numbers, and I'm an optimist, darn right bad. And we don't have the Massachusetts numbers yet, but they're interrelated, and the probability is they're going to have an impact here. What is the impact on the housing market?
Well, the housing market, real estate sales are made when people are feeling confident, and they usually feel confident when they have jobs and when they have growth in income. And real estate prices are highly dependent upon the relationship between personal income and the price of the real estate. So there's a close correlation there.
So quick follow-up. What have you seen in terms of consumer confidence in the real estate market?
Well, I think that consumers have been very bullish for real estate for more than a year now. We hear stories of, and Kim can speak to this, stories of multiple offers and lots of bids over the asking price. So that indicates that people are eager to make home purchases.
What is happening on the ground right now, Kim? Give us a sense in Massachusetts and elsewhere, as you know, as president of the Association of Realtors, what's happening on the ground as we enter into the prime buying time of the year?
Well, I think confidence is a good word to use. You know, the confidence is there. People are recognizing that prices are still very reasonable, interest rates are fabulously low, and inventory is starting to slide back a bit. We're seeing that all the options that might have been available to a buyer a couple years ago, they're not there anymore. So it's urging buyers to make that move, and we're seeing a shift. We're definitely seeing a shift.
When you say inventory is starting to come back, we've heard that there aren't many homes for sale. How would you characterize it right now?
It's tight. It's tight. We were seeing a fairly good balance of homes for sale in the market across Massachusetts. Buyers had a good choice. They had good selections. They could take their time. We're not seeing that anymore.
Well, why is that, do you think? Why aren't people selling their houses? Prices are coming back up.
Well, I think it's a combination of a couple of things. Not only people haven't put their homes on the market yet, and we're anticipating that they will, and we're hoping that they will if the time is right, but we also know that we've seen a tremendous increase in sales over the course of the last 22 or 19 to 22 months. So we've really been exhausting that inventory. We've been gobbling up. We've been working through foreclosures and short sales a little bit quicker. So we're at that point.
Tim, as you look at the Massachusetts scene, do you see different economies in different markets within Massachusetts, Greater Boston, Western Mass, North, South Shore? How do you see the different regions within the state?
Well, I think it's been pretty universal across the state that real estate has been coming back. There's been a lot of interest in urban living. The population of Boston. I was reading that the schools have to add more classrooms and things like that. So there's a lot of interest in the city and in surrounding areas. But again, it comes back to jobs, and people want to live close to where they work. And if new jobs are being created, that often creates a situation where people have to move to get to those new jobs.
A related question on what you just said. People want to be able to easily get to their jobs. We're in the midst of a great debate about transportation. What is the nexus, the connection between transportation and a hot housing market?
Well, just for some examples, I think that Arlington, Cambridge, and Somerville are all communities that are doing very well with real estate. A lot of young people want to be living there because they can commute into Boston easily on public transportation.
I want to get a sense from both of you. Maybe we can start with Tim. Prices. Where do you think prices are going this year? Do you have a sense of that?
Right now, they're going up.
I'm taking notes. Tim says.
I think the median price was up about 12% in February. It started to turn around in the last quarter of last year, and we've had steady increases. I think laws of supply and demand have just dictate that if there aren't enough homes to purchase, you get into these bidding wars and the prices go up.
So prices are up as far as you're concerned too. Where are we seeing actual bidding wars?
Yes, we are. Prices are headed up. I'm cautious about the increase in prices because if it is a result of supply and demand, and if we don't have that supply to sell any longer, then we aren't going to effectively have a good market recovery. But yes, prices are headed up. Multiple offers, absolutely. When you have a house that's priced well, it looks good, it's meeting the needs of the majority of buyers in that marketplace. Buyers know when a house is priced well. They're acutely aware of prices and what's a good value.
Kim and Tim, we'll start with Kim. Another variable in all of this is financing and mortgage rates. Rates are at an all-time low, and yet we're starting to hear that there are financing challenges. What do you see?
Well, I don't know if we're starting to hear. I think, we've been hearing for quite a long time, since the mid-2000s when we all had to reevaluate what happened there. And without getting into those specifics, there's been some hard lessons learned. Now, those folks that are buying today are sometimes paying the lessons of what we learned in the mid-2000s. It is difficult. You do need to have a job. You do need to have appropriate savings, and you do need to have good credit scores. Those are three strong items that you must have to buy a house. If you're not properly prepared and positioned, you're not going to get a loan. And maybe, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Tim, you follow also, through your publication, the banking industry. What are you hearing there in terms of availability of financing?
Well, we track mortgages, and I think last year mortgages were up about 41%, and a good part of the increase was because we sold more homes, but a real big part is the refinancing. They were up a tremendous number, and that's a big stimulus to the economy because people who can save a couple $100 on their mortgage each month put it back into the economy. So I think that's a stimulus factor, and the low rates make, especially condos, I think that a lot of people are doing the math, thinking, gee, I'm paying this for my apartment, and the rent's going to go up, and they start doing the math, and they say, gee, a condo really does make some sense.
All right, as far as being a realtor in this market, what tips do you have for people right now going to either sell or buy a home? What are the number one things that people need to be doing in this particular market to be successful?
Well, you need to contact a local realtor. And
of course.
Of course, someone who's educated, professional, works in the marketplace that you're considering buying or selling. Those folks have access to the data that you need to make a good decision. So if you're going to be buying, you want to know what the prices are. You want to have a reasonable expectation of what's available to you and at what price. And then you also, if you're a seller, you want to say, what is a good value for my house? What is going to allow me to attract the highest group of buyers? And what can I do to position that property so it's attractive visually to buyers?
As far as positioning goes and making it attractive visually, is like, do you have to use a stager these days? I mean, we've been hearing about it for years.
What is a stager?
The staging community will be in an uproar if I don't say yes, but right, exactly. Staging, and by staging we mean hiring a professional or getting some advice on what to do with the interior of your home so it appeals. If you were to come into my home, it feels like my home. If I'm going to sell that, it needs to become a product, so when you walk into my home, you need to feel like it could be your home.
Stagers.
Stagers.
I want to pick up also, we talked about housing and condos. You referred to the trend of folks coming back into the cities. Micro-housing units are something that have been discussed in the Innovation District. To be truthful, they're going forward. Micro-housing units, much smaller. Do you see any trend in that area?
Well, it's a little too early to start to see it in the data yet, but it's very interesting, and our offices are in the Innovation District, and kind of exciting around there now.
Well, and part of the theory in particular is for students who can't afford to have a larger unit condo or housing. So, and our friend the mayor has been pushing this, Mike. So we'll have to look at this trend.
Well, it's good for students because they're already used to living in a dorm room, so they haven't been spoiled with a lot of space.
So on the note of not being spoiled on a lot of space, Kim Allard-Moccia, head of Mass Realtors, and Tim Warren, CEO of the Warren Group, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Up next on This Week in Business, growing from a 5-person operation to an international publicly traded company.